What is up, everybody? This is Axe.
And this is Gamer.
We'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Chopping Block podcast. And today we are on the eve of AEW's All Out PPV. Very exciting time. We've been talking a lot about AEW on the channel. We talked about them a little bit in the last podcast. And man, there's some buzz in the air, dude. A lot of people are looking forward to this show.
Absolutely, man. It's been 2 months in the making, and they're going to give us a little teaser before October 2nd hits. And man, they have some great matchups. They have a great card going on. They have awesome storylines for it. I mean, I think it's just going to be awesome for wrestling fans.
Yeah, it's just going to be a great time in general, and we're going to talk a little bit about the card, what's going on, and we're going to briefly talk about each match, and we're also going to talk about just in general the state of AEW, the excitement around it, and, the kind of the perception that fans have regarding it. And we're just going to take a second here to make sure we're rolling, everything looking good.
I'm checking it out, man, and we are good. We're golden.
All right, sweet. Yeah, we're just getting started back with our chopping block series, and if there's any other topics that anybody watching wants us to talk about or anything, just let us know. We want to use this as kind of an open discussion segment where we just kind of chill and interact with everybody and have a good time here. And we're huge wrestling fans, so what better to talk about right now than AEW? Like you said, man, they've got a lot of buzz around them before they start their TV deal. This is going to be the last pay-per-view before that, so even more so than their last pay-per-view, this is a chance for them to really build up the excitement, continue building on it, to get people talking and to really substantiate themselves and say, hey, we're a big force here in the world of professional wrestling. We're going to give wrestling fans not only good shows, but consistently good shows, to show that we're not just going to throw everything out in one show, that we can come back again and again. And like you said, so when October does come around, they can say, hey, we've got the kind of product where we can come at you every week and bring something interesting and exciting.
Exactly. And we were talking earlier that this needed to happen. This kind of like reboot of real wrestling, in my personal opinion. And kind of, I remember back, excuse me, during when I first heard about AEW. I mean, I thought it was just like looking up wrestling stuff, and then I just seen like a link, like on the Google search engine, and I was like, what the heck is AEW? So I checked it out, man, and then I heard about their Double or Nothing pay-per-view. I checked that out, and I said, man, this is something. I mean, this is something that we need. And then I watched, of course, Fyter Fest. I watched Fight for the Fallen. And it just keeps getting better and better each time. And, it's good to see that again. It really is, man. I mean, you go from back when we watched wrestling as kids, with WCW Monday Night Wars. Back then it was called WWF, folks. Okay,
Back in the Stone Age.
Back in the Stone Age, and the Attitude Era, and that, and a lot of of course, people around our age will agree that is when real wrestling took place.
Yeah.
Then, and so now we got this awesome pay-per-view that's coming up, All Out. We got these matches that are going on. What do you think of the build-up before we get to, of course, the whole what everybody has been going on about between Omega and Pac? Let's go over this match just seems to be put on the back burner, so to speak, between Cody Rhodes and Sean Spear.
Yeah, man, this is a good match. I'm really excited about it.
Right, and it's just like, this match right here. A lot of people don't think it's going to be that big. Actually, yeah, it is. Because could you imagine the story plot that could pull off this different directions that could go in? A lot of people think, well, Cody's going to get his revenge chair shot. I think he's going to.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Sean Spears. He get popped in the head, with the steel chair. To be honest with you, he's already like I can't stand him, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a great heel. We got Jericho with Hangman Page, which by the way, a lot of people have different opinions about this. You know, they're saying that Hangman is actually going to win. What do you think about that?
I think it's good that they're kind of leaving it up in the air. That they haven't really gone too far in one direction or the other of, kind of hitting at the fans who's going to win because, on the one hand, Adam Page is kind of, he represents kind of the younger side of AEW, that original group of talent who maybe, certain wrestling fans, they don't know these talents, they haven't seen them a lot, so when they tune into
Right.
AEW, they're like, hey, it's fresh, and that has its appeal. On the other hand, wrestling fans have a very good memory, and when you have a guy like Chris Jericho, who, you know, he's not just around for this quote unquote wrestling war, as people were calling it, even though some people say it's not really a war. He was around for the last wrestling war. He was with WCW, and then of course went to WWE and became huge. And so I have a
Right.
feeling that Jericho's going to win it because right now I
Right.
think there are so many good feuds for Jericho out there. I think Jericho could feud with Kenny Omega. I think Jericho could maybe feud with Pac. I think, even if he beats Hangman at this pay-per-view, like we were talking earlier, I think it would make a good program if, let's say, Jericho cheats to win or something and he gets the job done. Well, Hangman could chase him and keep, on his journey to the title. And maybe if he gets so close to it at this pay-per-view, that's just going to build more fan interest in him, and it's going to get people engaged in that journey to see, okay, can he go through the contenders necessary to beat Jericho? So it's up in the air, man. It's back and forth, but I got to say, I think Jericho's going to take it. But it could go either way.
Right. Because another thing we did talk about with Jericho, him being a big talent that AEW originally brought on. He's one of the big backers, for AEW. I just don't really see, them giving him a one and done, because where he's talking about like I have to win. I have to. This is my legacy. If I don't win, where do I go from here? I really don't see AEW just saying, "Oh, well, thanks, Jericho. Appreciate your service." Yeah,
We'll give you your thank you. Now here's your pink slip.
yeah, right. And like you said, it just builds. Like, Hangman can lose to Jericho, right? And then whoever wins between Omega and Pac, like you said, Hangman could, you know, build his way back up because I don't know what they're trying to do with Omega, but like in his last promo when he found out that Mox wasn't going to be at All Out due
Right.
to a staph infection or MRSA, um, he kind of turned a little bit heel. If you watch him on the indie circuit and over in Japan and stuff like that, this is kind of like the first time that you ever see this side of. In my personal way, I haven't seen him like act this way since I've been watching him, but kind of heelish, because
Right.
normally he's like this nice guy, trying to get, but now he's just really upset and he's kind of, you know, uh, has this way about. I don't know what they're going to do with him. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it's a good direction to take him in too because, like you said, he's always kind of had this, from what we've seen of him, at least, kind of like a baby face kind of aura to him. But after what happened at the end of Double or Nothing, where John Moxley jumped him and beat him up and hit his finisher to him on top of the set piece, I kind of like this idea of maybe Kenny Omega getting so consumed with I got to get this back, I got to get this revenge, that he kind of does, show more of these heelish characteristics. He kind of does maybe become this anti-hero and he teeters on, the edge. Because AEW, we have heard a lot of talks that AEW is going to kind of abandon the quote-unquote traditional heel and face dynamics. Like, if
Right.
if they're going with what they said before, with which is they have the idea that they want to make this product seem more like a sport than certain other promotions in the wrestling industry. If they want to do that, it does make more sense to have, you can have, generic heels and faces in some cases, but it makes more sense to have characters that, in a lot of cases, are kind of a blend of the two, because if you look at, say, MMA, for example, with the UFC, some of the fighters are obviously antagonistic. They do try to get under people's skin and whatnot, but a lot of times it's, both people who are going to fight each other have their own fan bases. they have their own fans, they have their own detractors, they have, kind of a
Right.
mix. And so with them letting Kenny Omega show a little bit more of an aggressive side, man, I think that makes people more excited about his match with Pac, because it's like, he has to go through this guy to get to Omega to eventually, get to a championship shot. So I think it's going to be a good match, man. There's going to be, a lot of intensity to it. We're going to see a Kenny Omega who's, he's pissed off. He's out for revenge, and I think it's going to translate in the ring, man.
Probably so. And hey, I was just thinking as you were just now talking about, do you think even though Mox is not going to like fight, do you think that he makes an appearance tomorrow night?
That would be awesome. I wouldn't doubt it. Like, I seriously wouldn't doubt it, because I don't know how this company handles talent that are nursing injuries. I don't know what their policy is, but even if Mox isn't able to work a full match, I wouldn't put it past him, to have him, get in the ring, come out there, jump somebody, hit his finisher, kind of brawl with somebody. I think it'd be good to see that, because it's something, some people are probably speculating, and if he does show up when people least expect it, when they're focused on the match, it's gonna get a huge reaction. And I think it's gonna be just like the same kind of reaction he got before, when he just popped up out of nowhere. I think it would be good too, because it would kind of keep his feud with Kenny Omega going.
Right.
Because even if they don't get to wrestle a full match, maybe having them just have some sort of interaction to get their hands on each other for a little bit. Maybe they brawl for a minute and they're separated by security or something. That would be great, because as soon as they go on TV, you have a red hot feud between two of the biggest stars in the company that you can automatically pick back up on, and that would be, that's going to help out their TV show immensely.
Exactly. And let's talk about the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers.
All right.
Um, they're going to be doing a first ever, an AEW ladder match that the Lucha Brothers kind of issued to the Young Bucks. Now with their storylines, I haven't really got. I mean, I don't have a, you know, even a little thought on where they're going to go with them. I don't, because I haven't really. I know that they have been rivals, in I wouldn't say rivals, but just respected like competition,
Right.
between both teams. And I don't know where they're going to go with this. Like maybe have the Young Bucks, okay, lose to the Lucha Bros. Okay, they could promote like a storyline like, hey, we beat you. Now you got to prove yourself. And then I believe it's on, I want to say October the 30th. They go to Charleston, West Virginia, and that's when they actually put on the first tag team championship match and crown tag team champions of AEW. Do you think that's when the Young Bucks, take over the Lucha Bros?
It could be the case, because here they're doing the AAA World Tag Team Championships. We haven't seen the official AEW Tag Team Championships debut, but we have to think that when those belts are debuted, that both the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers are going to be in the running for that.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I honestly think that the Lucha Brothers might get the win here. They keep the AAA World Tag Team Championships, but I think it might be a situation like we were talking about with the other matches, where even if the Bucks don't win, they come so close, they put up such a good fight, they get the crowd going so much. Yeah, they have to fight their way back up. And also, like like you said, the dynamic of having this be a ladder match also adds a new element, which we really haven't seen with AEW. And it adds, there's so much, given how both these teams are just so incredibly athletic, man. There's so much stuff they're going to be able to do with this. This is one of those matches on the card, man. It's going to be exciting from beginning to end. I can't wait.
Yeah, and also we got another triple, I think it was a triple three. I can't remember. It's three on three, pretty much tag team a match. You got Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
You got Jungle Boy. I can't remember the middle guy, man.
Marco Stunt.
Hyper. Yeah, he reminds me of Bam Bam. So that clutch. It's not even funny. But and then of course you got the
SCU.
SCU. Yeah, I was getting ready to call him SoCal. Whoops. Don't ask me where that came from. I really don't. again, new talent, trying to get to learn them, but that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
That's gonna be because you talk about athletic ability. These guys. I mean, I don't know, just AEW all around, man. You just really don't see like anybody lacking in ability.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
only person that I could think of that might just be just a little bit, but he's great for his age, is both Jericho and Dustin.
Right.
Other than that, man, it's like high flying, you name it. Like,
Yeah, young,
oh my
hungry,
God.
athletic.
Right. It's like, oh my God, how they do that action.
Yeah,
You
man.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, now the storyline, we could have like a Cinderella like storyline with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy,
Hmm.
you know, building their way up to go after the tag team championships. I don't know what the storyline is going to be with that. That's the great thing about AEW. You just don't know yet.
Right.
You don't know what's going to unfold, and that's what's going to make October the 2nd, in my personal opinion. I mean, everybody's focused on All Out. Yes, it's going to be a great pay-per-view. Do not get me wrong. But October the 2nd starts AEW's run, in my personal opinion,
Right.
because they're going to have to put on a great show, a great product, I should say, each and every week. Excuse me. And that's where we will actually know. We will actually know what AEW is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And this show I think is really going to set the pace for that because with Double or Nothing and the shows that have come to in the interim, we've seen a lot of great wrestling. We saw some stars come over, of course, with surprise debuts, say from people like Awesome Kong, of course from Moxley, and that's built the buzz, like you said. That's got people interested. That's kept them in the headlines. Now, with them heading towards TV, now they're in the stage where it's like now we have to start putting together the elements for long-term storylines. We have to start sowing the seeds, getting people and programs together. Maybe starting out finding those wrestlers who are going to make their run to the championships, getting feuds established and things like that, man. And I can't wait because, like you said, with AEW coming to TV, that's a whole different ball game, and that's a whole different way for
Right.
this company, I think, to express itself. Because it's one thing, like you said, for them to have a pay-per-view or to even have multiple pay-per-views where they have these big shows and they're playing all the stops. But let's see what they can do when they're putting out TV week after week, when we're having long-term programs, where we have feuds, where we have, superstars and, talent who we can get behind and, watch them go on that journey. Watch them go through these feuds. Maybe it's like an Omega thing where we see their character kind of change. Maybe it's a Hangman Page thing where they kind of come out of nowhere and make a run for the title. Man, I'm just all around excited. Dude. I can't
Right.
wait for October. I cannot wait for this pay per view.
I know, man. It's going to be awesome. And another person that's, I don't think he's wrestling. I don't know. MJF. Is he wrestling tomorrow? I know that we've been kind of focused on, you know, I don't know if he's wrestling, like, of course, at the, on the pre-show, before the actual pay-per-view starts.
Right.
Uh, but that's okay, another talent
Yeah.
that with Sean Spears. Okay, do you think that he's possibly going to come out and, let's just say, make an appearance to help Cody?
I think that's a very
Or
good point. I think that could definitely be a factor because I didn't think about that, but MJF
because
versus Sean Spears would be a great program.
right, exactly, and that's what I'm saying, because MJF is like apparently Cody's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, MJF was there to help Cody out of the ring after that chair shot. And of course, they were backstage, when Sean Spears was walking out, when he's getting escorted out, and MJF was, they were exchanging words. So, MJF has beef now. Now, do you think that he'll probably come in and try to interfere, or is he just going to let Cody have his match, and then afterwards, he's going to come out, and then that's where the storyline hits with those two, MJF and Sean Spears?
I think they'll have. I think they'll have the match. I think we'll get some sort of clean finish, and I think after the fact, MJF will come out, and it's kind of a complicated situation too, because like we were talking about, if they don't want to do the traditional heel face dynamics, this is a good opportunity to kind of experiment a bit, because you have Sean Spears, who kind of has this loose cannon gimmick. He's kind of, has this unpredictability about him after that chair shot and after these promos he's cut. And AEW has done a fantastic job of making this guy seem interesting. We saw him in other promotions. They didn't really have a lot for him there, even though the time he did have on camera, he had some obvious charisma. He had the ability to get the crowd interested in him. And given that AEW has given him a little breathing room, he's kind of in that tweener phase where it's like, he's not exactly, say, a villainous heel, but at the same time, he's not a baby face. And then you have MJF, who, of course, he's kind of got this superiority complex, which makes him heelish in a way. But also there's the fact that he has this buzz around him because he is a charismatic guy. What if, because Sean Spears has Tully Blanchard with him. What if MJF comes out and tries to, fight Tully or something to get heat, to get, Spears' attention? That might be an interesting way to go that they could approach.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about the women.
All right.
I think we have a women's match, don't we?
Yep.
That is between, I want to say, is Allie? Is it going to be? I don't know. I haven't looked at the women. I'll be honest with you. Do you have the page up front here?
Yeah. On the main card we have Ryo versus Hikaru Shida. And I'll say this: Hikaru Shida, she really, really impressed me in the multi-women tag match they had at Double or Nothing.
Right.
So
yep.
I'm really glad we're getting to see her in some singles competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And Awesome Kong's actually going to be there. She was confirmed. I've seen an article on her. She's definitely going to be at All Out. I don't know what they're going to do exactly, but maybe I want to say we haven't seen a recent signee that they had. They brought on Sadie Gibbs.
Right.
We haven't seen her make her appearance yet, so maybe she's going to do something tomorrow night.
Right, and we have the Casino Battle Royal. Don't forget on the buy-in show, where the winner of that is going to receive a shot at the AEW Women's World Championship. So that is massive.
My gosh, I can't believe I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's massive.
So we're going to have pretty much all the ladies just going at tomorrow night, pretty much.
Yeah,
see who.
And can we just throw some appreciation out there for the promo they cut with this? Number one, they had the legendary Jake the Snake out there as the dealer for this promo, which was a nice touch. And of course, we have ECW and WWE legend Jazz, who's going to be making her return. That's a huge addition. And we have Teal Piper, daughter of the late great Roddy Piper, who's going to be there. So
right.
even the buy-in is going to be a can't miss show, man. I'm just looking forward to this card so much, man. It's so stacked. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah. The buy-in Private Party.
Yep.
And we got them against Angelico and Jack Evans.
Yep.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, man.
Like them guys, I know Angelico and Jack Evans, man. Well, both teams, man. I don't know. Like we can just keep on going on and on. But one thing we want you to do, if you're a wrestling fan, get this pay-per-view.
Absolutely.
Get it. You will not be disappointed. Yes, we're cutting a promo for AEW because you know what? We're excited because this real wrestling is back.
Absolutely.
It's back. So, anyways, we're gonna. I guess. Do we have any more matches to cover? Did we pretty much go over all of them?
We talked about most of the big ones. I guess we can go ahead and wrap up here and just give our final thoughts about this show, man. How do you think it's gonna shape up? How do you think it's gonna close out?
Oh, man, I don't know. And it just goes back to the point of, like what we said, AEW is the great thing about them right now, which I think that they'll continue to do, is keep us guessing.
Right.
Till up to the point, where they do the October 2nd, once they make their debut on TNT, then we'll start seeing storylines, definitely coming into the fold. But that's the great thing, man. Don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that AEW has not disappointed so far, and I'm looking for the same result, tomorrow.
Absolutely. And after this pay-per-view, we're going to be right back here, guys. We're going to be giving our thoughts on the show, recapping the results. We're going to be talking to everybody. We hope that anybody who's interested, come back, get on the discussion. We'd love to talk about this, and maybe after we review the show, we can make our predictions about what's going to be going on for the first episode of the TV show. But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank everybody for checking this out. Make sure you check out AEW All Out. It's going to be awesome. We can't wait.
Can't wait. We will catch you guys tomorrow.